What's up, Lantern fans? It's the man whose ring runs on fanboy energy, the podcasting machine, the big nerd in green. It's the Emerald Enthusiast back with another action figure review. This time I'm taking a look at the Mattel DC Universe Classics signature collection figure of Larfleeze. So these DC Universe Classic Signature Collection figures have become pretty difficult to find, and some of them have hefty price tags. I'm glad that I was able to find Larfleeze back in the day before the price shot up. But let's go ahead and take a closer look at the package details now. Here is the white shipper. It says Signature Collection Larfleeze Adult Collector. There's the Mattel logo. This is very basic, but I do like this extra layer of protection, not only for the figure, but for the package itself. And here is that package. It's pretty basic in and of itself, but I do like it. It says Signature Collection Larfleeze Adult Collector. I really like this art on the side of the box. That is very attractive. Partial window on this side. On the back, we get similar artwork as well as a brief bio of Larfleeze. It says, Larfleeze was already a greedy and maniacal thief when he discovered the orange light of avarice. As its sole keeper, the lone orange lantern uses his power to build an army of constructs based on the beings he's killed. The gluttonous and darkly comedic Larfleeze is a super hoarder, stealing and collecting anything he can get his grubby claws on. Truly insatiable, he cares only for his own wants and would never share with anyone. Here is the figure as seen through the front packaging. I really like the background here. You can see that he is framed in the color orange. I also really appreciate the fact that within the package, he is in this pose where he's hugging his personal power battery to his body in a very greedy looking pose. And overall, I do like the way that this box looks. It's not a lot of wasted space, and I really think that this would look good on a set of shelves, especially if you have, say, St. Walker and Atrocitus, the other Lantern-centric figures in the Signature Collection. Really, my only complaint is that you can't see his feet unless you angle the package up like this. But with all that being said, now I think it's time to bust this figure out of the package and see what's inside. And here we see the Avatar of Avarice out of the package and ready to grab anything he can get his hands on. I was very happy that Larfleeze was included in the DC Universe Classics collection. There still aren't a lot of collectibles of Larfleeze, and I do believe that this is one of his best. Now, that being said, I do have a couple of small criticisms of this figure, so let's go ahead and get a closer look at the loose details now. So here we have a look at the lower body, and it is very basic. It's pretty much all one color, except for the fact that under the knees, the orange is a little bit lighter than on the quadriceps here. And I don't know if that was the way the figure was produced. I can't really remember because this is a figure that came out in 2013, or if perhaps the plastic changed color a little over time. That does happen, but nonetheless, I still think this looks really good. The figure is sturdy, by the way, and that's always a plus. Now, Larfleeze is a gangly character. He's not overly buff. And of course, that's subject to artist interpretation, but he's never been drawn as a really big type of character. So you can see here that his legs are pretty thin. Good definition here in the calves, as well as you can see that there's been a dark wash that's been given to the quadriceps here, and that helps with definition, of course. The lower body articulation is a mixed bag. You can see that he has this single peg ankle here, and you can move the foot forward just a little and back just a little. I would caution anyone in trying to force a joint on an old figure, but you do get some movement there. Single jointed knees, And actually, you can get them to go up that far, so that's not bad, although I would have preferred them to go up a little further. He does have a quadriceps swivel, although it's lower here than it is with a lot of other figures. So you can get the leg to swivel back and forth like this, but it does make the quadriceps look a little weird when you do that. Here's a look at the hips, and these are the hinge style hips that Mattel used to have with the DC Universe Classics line. So you can actually get his legs to go very far out to the sides. That's very impressive. He's doing a Jean-Claude Van Damme there. So now, that being said, you can get him to step back, and I do appreciate that. But as far as kicking forward, you can only get him to go about that far. And it's ironic that I've been talking about this recently with my reviews of McFarlane figures. So it seems that, you know, kicking forward has been a problem for a lot of DC characters in action figure lines for quite a while. But overall, I'm going to say that there are more positives than negatives with the articulation in the lower body. Let's have a look at the torso now. And overall, I do like this body mold. As I said before, Larfleeze is not a really muscular character, so I think the dimensions work well here. I really like the fact that the symbol is molded. It actually looks like something that has been placed over the pectorals, so I appreciate the sculpting effort there. I feel like the front of the torso lacks a little bit in terms of muscle definition, but that's not the case with the back of the torso. You can see the latissimus dorsi and the trapezius. There's also some wrinkles sculpted in to the collar, so I certainly appreciate that. In terms of torso articulation, you can get the figure to pivot side to side. In fact, you can get him to turn around 360 degrees. There is the abdominal crunching motion here, but he's pretty tight, so that movement is limited. And there's also no side-to-side swiveling. Let's have a look at the arms now, and I'll take a closer look at the ring in just a second, but I really like these wrist gauntlets here. I also really appreciate these double jointed elbows. Good sculpting with the biceps and the triceps. I like the way the sleeves have been sculpted, as well as the orange Lantern Corps logo on his shoulder. With the double jointed elbows, you can actually fold his arm in half like this, and so I certainly appreciate that. But there are some limitations with the arm. You can only get the shoulder to go up that far. There is 360 degrees of rotation, but there's no bicep swivel, and there is movement here at the wrist, although with this one it's a little tight and I'm a little wary of trying to articulate that too much. You can only get his arms to go out and back this far. Mattel wasn't using butterfly joints for this line, but this figure really could have used some. The ring is molded and it's painted very well, as you can see. It's also a good size, and that's something of which I'm often critical with lantern-centric figures, is that toy makers make the rings too small, and that can really be an eyesore. However, I do feel like the hands are lacking some detail here. Here we have a look at the head sculpt, and this is really an extraordinary paint job, I must say. I don't have a lot of criticisms here, although I feel like the snout should be a little bit longer. But you can see like the ocular sockets and the top of the head here, it's all been molded very well. It's been painted very well. Lots of good texturing on all sides. And the differentiation in color, like you can see on the sides here, really gives the figure an added aspect of realism. So the figure's head moves freely side to side. I would have preferred a little bit more articulation as far as looking up, but he does look down well, and there's also a little bit of head tilting. Here is the personal power battery, and this is the only accessory that comes with the figure. Overall, I think this is a decent effort. I don't like these as much as the DC Direct personal power batteries from the same time period, but as you can see, there's pretty good sculpting here. There is some good detail. I really don't like this visible stamp, and you'll often hear me say that if you watch a lot of my videos. And I also wish that there was some translucent plastic in the middle. The handle does move, so I have to give Mattel credit for that. But Mattel could have made a major upgrade to this accessory's appearance by using more metallic-looking plastic. If you're wondering if the figure can hold the personal power battery, he can do so. You just need to work the battery into the fingers here. They're pretty pliable, although I would recommend that you be careful here. Take your time. You can get him to hold it, and you can flip the wrist over and get him to hold it like this as well. Here is the figure in comparison to the DC Direct Blackest Night Larfleeze, and this figure has the advantage in many areas, like the Galomulus construct, the logo peg base, better looking personal power battery, and I also believe that the limbs are more fitting for Larfleeze's appearance. However, this one still has the edge in terms of articulation. I still worry about fragility with old DC Direct figures, so if your plans are to do a diorama or stop motion, I would certainly go with the DC Universe Classics Signature Series Larfleeze. I certainly hope you have enjoyed this review. If so, please like, subscribe, and tell a friend to do the same. Stay tuned for some articulation shots, and also remember to catch me on the Multiverse Musings vidcast, available right here on YouTube. And I'll be back to the internet with more Green Lantern-related content soon. But until we meet again, this has been the Emerald Enthusiast, and thanks for watching.
Stop.